until you call. I'll hit record.
They kicked ass.
Yeah, how are you?
Good, good.
You know, might as well played your high school.
I took Rogers for my fantasy team.
Bunch of people here for the
He was down
Viking
16
stuff.
or 17.
That's what they're here.
Everybody's
Well, I-
he ain't got it.
That's, and I was gonna bring other people.
Fantasy team played against the head
It
coach.
was 95 pages.
Oh,
The
yeah.
bike
I'm
thing
sorry.
was
I
95
didn't read
pages. Okay.
I've never done that finish thing. I don't
It's
know.
fun. It's fun. We do 20 man in,
Okay,
$20 in, and
I'm not.
Yeah, I confirmed that.
All right.
Okay, all right.
there's lots of.
Okay, the recorder's
We're gonna do
on.
him
All
first.
those sissies. Just,
Yeah, yeah, he was gonna go first.
And then this.
Yep.
All right.
I'm not.
Good afternoon, I wish. No, good evening all. We're gonna have a presentation first, and then we'll start the regular meeting. This is from Travis Anderson from Strand and Associates regarding the wastewater treatment plant.
Well, thank you for having me here tonight. I appreciate it. And I know you have a busy agenda, so I'm not going to take a long time here, but what I'd like to do is just give you a brief summary of where things are at with the large construction project that's underway over at the treatment plant, and talk about where things are at from a change order standpoint, and then just talk about some of the challenges that we've had to overcome that resulted in the additional engineering services amendment that are in your packet tonight. So just starting off with the handout, you should have had a handout that looks like this. We'll just take a look at that aerial photo there, and I'll just kind of walk you through at a high level where things stand with construction. So the screening and grit removal upgrades have been completed. That's really the plant's first line of defense for keeping out the large material and abrasive material that can clog and damage the rest of the equipment throughout the plant. That's been expanded to meet the increased flow capacity for the plant. Then you see a series of blue new tanks at the bottom of that photo. The first is a primary clarifier that's been constructed and is now in service. That is the first area of treatment at the plant and reduces the loadings and energy use for the following treatment processes. The aeration tanks are also completed and are in service. And if you remember from our previous presentations, those are designed to remove phosphorus biologically, and that reduces the chemical use and operations costs at the plant. The new final clarifier is also online. That basically doubles the capacity of the overall treatment system. UV disinfection, which destroys bacteria before the wastewater effluent pumped to the river. That capacity has been doubled, and the new system is online. The influent pump upgrades are in progress, so that'll again allow the plant to process more influent flow into the plant. The Silver Lake force main, so that's the 2-mile-long force main that was constructed along Highway B, that was completed last year. And the Silver Lake pump station work is in progress. Remember, that's the kind of the main idea of this whole project was regionalization between the Silver Lake and the Salem plants to allow all the wastewater to be treated at the Salem facility. That was, in the long term, the lowest cost option for the village, and it also provided the greatest benefits, which I'll just briefly talk about here. So overall, this project is increasing the plant capacity to more than 10 million gallons per day. This project also allows for greater redundancy. In the past, when units had to be taken offline, it basically cut the capacity of the plant in half, which was very difficult to manage during high flows, which has been a major concern in recent years. It allows a lot more space for expansion and growth. If you take a look at this aerial photo here, you see a lot of space available along the top of the photo, whereas over at the Silver Lake facility, there really was no room for any more structures to be built. It allows for greater flexibility to meet future regulations. So for example, you've been aware of the phosphorus regulations that have occurred throughout Wisconsin. There may be in the future nitrogen regulations. The Salem plant is designed to remove nitrogen biologically, whereas the Silver Lake plant cannot. Silver Lake plant had major concerns with flooding due to being in the floodplain, whereas the Salem plant is not. This project is going to simplify future phosphorus compliance through allowing it to qualify for the phosphorus variance. And everything is on track for the substantial completion being this December, with final completion occurring in May of 2021. So construction is going very well, and is nearing the point where all the processes will be online. So changing gears to take a look at the overall budget. This was discussed in detail in the letter that was included in your packets, and there's also some highlights at the bottom of the handout that I gave out tonight. But the project was separated into two contracts, one for the work at the treatment plant and then one for the 2-mile-long force main. So the treatment plant contract is about 84% complete, and right now it has about 1.7% change orders. The force main contract is 100% complete and had a negative change order of about 10%. So overall, the project is about at a wash between the two contracts. There's only about $15,000 in total change orders to date, and that includes pending changes. So very close to 0% change orders overall. And the industry standard is about 3 to 5% on projects like this. So we're very pleased that at this point in the project, where the treatment plant work is over 80% complete, that the overall change orders are that low. And I also wanted to point out that the funding for the project allows for that 5% change order, and that is about $878,000 of contingency money that's available to the loan. And the master planning study that set the solar rates used that full 5% in accounting for the user rates. So long story short, the project is all under budget at this stage in construction. I also wanted to discuss some of the challenges that we worked through with Brad and Mike on the project. And those included some things that no one really could have foreseen during the design phases, such as structures and piping not being as shown on the record drawings that required redesign. There were some geotechnical things that came up on the force main project, such as boulders that were encountered during the area where the force main was crossing Highway C, and the change that was redesigned to account for that actually ended up saving the village a considerable amount of money because of the change in the unit price, but it did require some additional engineering work. Also on the force main, due to wet weather conditions and a potential delay claimed by the contractor, Strand redesigned some of the open cut piping to be horizontally directional drilled. Again, that resulted in a net credit to the village, but it incurred some additional engineering costs. And then there's just been several other items, such as pumps that have needed to be replaced that weren't in the original scope because they were part of a future phase in the master plan, but they failed during this project. There were several other examples of that. Issues with wet weather and flooding that caused equipment to needed to be replaced that we assisted with the design on. Some additional coordination due to COVID-19 with startup of equipment, with difficulties coordinating with vendors that were coming in for startup and training. And we've discussed all these items and several others with Brad and Mike. But that just gives you an idea of some of the items that, again, were unforeseen that caused additional engineering expenses. So overall, with the amendment that we're proposing, the total engineering services for this project are still below 15%, which is the industry standard for design and construction. So we're combining both the design phase and this phase. And again, that's still below 15% even with this amendment. So we understand that this is a really important project. It's a very strategic project for the village that's going to allow continued growth. In the long run, it's going to result in savings from eliminating the Silver Lake plant. And it has a lot of those benefits that we talked about. And with this amendment, we continue being able to serve the village in the manner that we have throughout construction to date. So that's why we just would appreciate your consideration of that tonight. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any at this point.
Bill?
I got a question for you. You said there were some equipment failures, specifically pumps. Were these part of the new project or were these existing pumps?
They were existing pumps that were old and slated to be rehabbed in the next phase of the master plan. You remember the master plan set several phases out into the future, and they just didn't make it. So
if we're replacing the pumps, what additional engineering work would need to be done?
well, just working with the manufacturer to come up with a plan for rehabbing the pumps because they weren't directly replaced in kind. We worked to determine the most economical way to rehab what was there versus just go with a straight replacement.
Dan?
First of all, thank you very much for keeping an eye on that budget of us. Thank you. We are increasing capacity from 6 to 10 million, almost 10.5 million. What was the average daily use of that plant? Can you combine the two of Silver Lake and the Salem treatment plant? So how much capacity are we over our current usage?
Well, right now, Salem plant averages around what, about 1.5 grad, and Silver Lake's probably at about 0.3. So right now the plant's probably close to about 2. Now that's on an average condition,
Right.
but when you get a lot of rain, those flows right now, they'll go up past that 6. So right now that's why the plant has issues with being able to keep up during wet weather events, which is why it was designed for well in excess of 6 all the way past 10.
Okay.
So it accounts for future growth within the village.
That was really what I wanted to know is how much extra growth do we have to play with before we have to look to another expansion of that plant?
The plant was designed based on the sewer pack, the Regional Planning Commission projections for population for 20 years from now.
What is that population, do you know?
I don't know it offhand. It was in the master plan. And again, that came directly from sewer pack. So they took the land use in the area and increased it based on the projected population.
Any other questions?
Just want to make a comment that, we'd asked Travis to come and do this presentation. It's been several months since we were here. Obviously our rates come in a little high. They worked very hard to keep those numbers well below what they had projected, and they've been excellent. They kept up with all the changes, and as you can see, normally, in the past, with some of our previous people that we worked with, 80–90% of our budget was change orders, and as you can see that just working with these guys, they don't allow that they figure out a way to do it internally to make that happen, and they put a lot of emphasis on the contractor to make that work. So I just wanted to come and give you a recap. And obviously, I think the engineering money, especially what they're digging, our prints will tell us it's a 10-inch pipe. They start getting in the ground, and it's 8 or it's 6, whatever the case may be. But they've stayed right on top of that, just due to some poor work done previous to them. And it's been a pleasure to work with them. But we just thought it was a good time to update you. We're coming to the end. I believe we're going to be up functional from December. We plan to do some of those cut-ins Thanksgiving so we can get this Silver Lake plant open. And then we would like to complete this, get it moved to substantial completion in the next month or 2 and then finish up in the spring. So it's been a pleasure to work with.
Okay, thank you, Travis. With that, we're going to move into our regular meeting, and I'm going to call it to order. And please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call. I get to see Dan. Dan has been out for a while. He's been coming to our meetings with Zoom, and we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Great. So I'm assuming you can say, yes, you're here.
Present.
All right. Mr. Hopkins.
Here.
Mr. Kulat. Mr. Faber.
Here.
Mr. Kmek.
Here.
And Mr. Gant.
Here.
Everyone's present. Open meeting for Friday. About Friday. Any change in the agenda sequence? None. All right. With that, do we have any citizens' comments? Oh.
I just have one comment. I think that maybe the 6 o'clock will take, a month or two to get used to. I know there's a couple of people here that want to speak on different agenda items. So if they're not here when we get to it, I just ask to get moved further down.
Talking about housing?
Yeah, Ken Halsey will be here in the next few minutes, and I also believe a couple of Kenosha County board members will be here this weekend, but,
We only get one.
oh, I didn't see her sitting over there, Sharon, and I know
Yeah,
that.
but isn't Mark supposed to come too?
Mark Nordigan, yes, they're the two that actually.
Yeah, okay, so with that, I'm gonna work around those two.
Ken Halsey said he'd be here.
No problem.
One more for Bradley.
Travis's agenda item number 3 on the public.
Oh, we can go through that.
I don't know if you want to just move him up.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Perfect. Hold off on the citizens' comments. We're gonna go to item under Public Works. Number 3 is, yeah, because he sent the letter and then he has the task order. So I'm going to go to Public Works number 3. Discussion and possible action on task order number 18-03, amendment number 1 between the Village of Salem Lakes and Strand Associates.
Move to approve, second.
Was that Hopkins?
Yes.
Hopkins and Kulat. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else? We're good? All right. Thank you, Brad, for bringing that. I was just going to make him sweat it out, you know?
You're paying him by the hour, let him go.
Yeah. I saw that. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, now we're going to open it up to citizens' comments. And more than welcome to speak. If you're on the agenda, I would ask that you hold off until your item is up. It'll save some time, but if you're not on the agenda and you would like to speak, good night. Mary Beth, do you want to speak?
Hi.
Hi,
Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. I'm here to ask for your support for the comprehensive bike plan for Kenosha County, the 2025. I'll just let you know a little bit about me and what biking means to me. I started biking at 60, and I started doing mountain biking and fat bike. And then I thought I really like to ride a road bike. It's more my thing. I can go further, I enjoy it. I ride for fun. I ride for fitness. I like to ride for errands. I like to do challenges. I did a trek challenge last year. You do 100 miles in a month. That's about my average, 100 miles a month. This year I'm doing 150 miles to raise money for childhood cancer. I have sponsors. I like to organize events for biking. Quite a biking community here in Salem. A lot of it's associated with the mountain biking, but there's a lot of road biking. And I planned an event where we rode as suffragettes from Silver Lake Park to Bristol Historical Society. And they were so excited to see us, the social distancing, but with the biking, we can do it. So it's been really good during the pandemic, truly good. We had a chance to ride the ordinary bike, which is the big high wheel bike. A lot of the guys, it was like a bucket list thing for them. They had antique bikes there. It's just the community that has been extremely good for me. And I support it. You know, if you see me out maybe meandering around on a nice day on my bike, that's just not all I'm doing. My resting heart rate is lower than it's ever been. My doctor said, you only need to see me once a year for your blood pressure now. It's because of biking. So please support the bike plan I'm advocating with my own personal story. There's plenty of us out there. There's a lot of biking these days. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara Skillings?
Yes, go ahead. I believe you said.
Yes, you're for the, yes, you can,
Barb and I are here for Wisconsin.
right. Would you, okay, you can wait for that. How about David Spielberg? Spiegelberg.
That's all right, I'm used to that.
Well, I corrected it.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight. I'm also here to address the possible action on the comprehensive bike plan. I really couldn't find any details on what your possible action might be, but I just wanted to read a statement. I'll read since I have a tendency to ramble. But my name is David Spiegelberg, and I'm a lifelong resident of Kenosha County. And while I'm here speaking as a private citizen, I want to share that I am employed, and I've been employed by the Wisconsin Department of Tourism for the past 26 years. My primary role is to represent the Department of Tourism here in 19 counties in eastern Wisconsin. So I work on a day-to-day basis with tourism development and tourism promotion between Kenosha County and Door County. Outside of the geographical aspect of my job, I'm also the point person at the Department of Tourism for anything bike tourism or bicycle marketing related. Because I act as the department's bike tourism coordinator, I've been privileged to sit on the Governor's Bicycle Council for the last 3 administrations. I'm happy to share that I'm also an avid biker, so know that I have a long list of opinions about the benefits of cycling. But I'm going to stay away from personal opinions tonight and just share some information about economic impact that bicycle tourism and recreation brings to Wisconsin, Kenosha County, and our local community. According to the Wisconsin Department of Tourism's annual economic impact study from 2019, on average, people traveling to Wisconsin or around Wisconsin, this includes our local residents, will spend an average of about $71 per day as a day visitor, and approximately $160 per day if they're overnight visitor. With all of our visitors from in-state and around the state, things do add up. Tourism and recreation impact on the state of Wisconsin's economy reached $22 billion in 2019. And that impact to Kenosha County was $391 billion spent on tourism recreation in this county alone. Last year, tourism and recreation supported 202,000 jobs in Wisconsin, with over 3,400 of those jobs right here in Kenosha County. Statewide, travelers and outdoor recreation enthusiasts spending has generated about $1.6 billion in local taxes and local fees. And that equals about $25 million in taxes and fees generated by tourism and recreation in Kenosha County alone. And research also tells us that those tax revenues generated by outdoor recreation and tourism offsets our household tax payments by $687 per year by household. The Outdoor Industry Recreation Association, which is a national research organization for the outdoor industry, estimates that $1.42 billion was spent on bicycle-related expenses in Wisconsin in 2017. These bicycle economic indicators ripple through to many industries, including manufacturing of bicycles and bicycle parts. Wisconsin is a leader in that area. Wholesale and distribution, retail and repair services, and bicyclists also have an effect on our economy through the money that they spend on event entry fees, food and drink, as Mary Beth knows, lodging and other items where they ride, tour, and race in Wisconsin. And because time is limited, I'm not going to address other ways that biking benefits the local community. Mary Beth also touched on the health benefits, but there's also environmental benefits, transportation benefits, and the quality of life benefits that comes with things like bicycle tourism and recreation in our local economy. So I'd like to close with this statement. Traditionally, people like to visit a destination that has a strong tourism and recreation base. If it's a nice place to visit, it's often a nice place to live. If it's a nice place to live, it's often a nice place to invest. So something as simple as biking bike riding and bike riding on our local family-friendly roads, our trails, or maybe our mountain biking trails here in Silver Lake County Park may lead to a larger quality of life decision by an individual who is willing to make a life-changing, possibly a life-changing move to Kenosha County or Salem Lakes, or possibly a larger financial investment just due to our quality of life here in this local community. So I thank you for this opportunity to share, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I haven't seen you for a while. That last time I saw you was the opening of Vail.
Yeah, now skiing is my other area of expertise. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next one we got is Carol. You want to talk about it? No? Okay. Carol wants I can talk about it. Carol was inquiring about a dog park that we kind of said, the park commission many years ago, was it 2004? 14? Way off. Anyway, I think that it should go up in front of the park commission. You know, I was just thinking about it, you know, the passive park, maybe like that, half of that by the parking lot there, that'd be a really nice little on the side. Anyway, park commission. All right, Jeff and Cindy Bell. Would you like to speak or you just signed in?
We just say.
Okay, perfect. Sandy, you're going to talk. Priscilla and William, you want to wait till your item's up too? Okay, all right. Anybody else that didn't get on the list for citizens' comments? All right, with that, I'm going to close citizens' comments and move on to presentations, petitions, communications, and other agency reports. Number 1, discussion and possible action on the July 2020 raise order issued for the property located at 120-254th Avenue in Trevor. Priscilla, we had already started moving forward this, but I would like to give you your time to speak.
I'm not sure what to do here.
Just tell us why you're here.
I would like to ask you was why you did the raise order when I had unusual help.
Because it's been going on since 2002.
We received a letter saying that we had 30 days to fix our roof on our garage, on the back part of the roof of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3 years ago, when we were in here, we asked them, is there any way that you can help us? Can't afford to do it on our own.
We have to, if there was any other programs.
They said, no, flat out. We were begging.
Excuse me, who's they?
People here.
People here, the lawyers.
The village board?
No.
No.
Okay, okay,
Lawyers.
okay.
Here,
The judge.
the judge. We asked them.
William Chabot, they both live in that
They
home.
denied giving us any information to help us.
C-H-A-B-O-T.
Okay. Halfway through the 30 days, we found out about HUD. Okay, nobody ever mentioned it to us. Got an email back within a half hour. I said, sure. Send me your paperwork, which we did. Got our taxes done. Qualifying for the HUD assistance. My wife has a letter here. Okay, he sent us, got an email to, he was trying to contact the inspector of this township. To let him know that he was working with us. He said he never got a response back. To the point of where he had to contact the village administrator, the inspector's boss, and say, okay, they're working with HUD. Just let him know before you guys vote.
And when was that, sir?
On the 13th of July.
Okay.
Before you voted on it, he had all of our paperwork. We went out and got our taxes done, got all our paperwork together. It's a single car garage in the back part of the house. You're gonna steal away $100,000 house property when we have a chance to get it repaired. at our last meeting here, they gave us time to work on the yard and clean that up. We'll be back in December to take care of that.
Okay, but you haven't cleaned up your yard.
We've been working on it. We have until December 8th. That's what the time they gave us. Okay. I can't see you tearing down the house because you have a bad roof. Yeah, we got a couple tree prints.
It's more than the roof. What, I mean, is it on here? I don't even know.
Let Mike address
We
this.
never got a list of everything.
Yeah, I'd be happy to address some of that. Obviously, the couple of statements there that I'm not sure where they come from. I did speak to the gentleman from HUD. I spoke to him briefly, I believe it was HUD, in Ocean County, briefly in regards to that they had applied for some kind of a loan, which was a low interest. To be honest, from what I understood, the brief conversation was low interest, low value loan, meaning that, they weren't going to be a lot. And it was mostly for replacing some shingles, replacing some windows, stuff of that nature. Once I explained to him that basically what had transpired over the course of the last 10 years, that was done. We, obviously, before we came to the board, we went to the health department and we'd asked them to step in and give us a hand because we could not gain compliance. And at the end of the day, that's all that we as village employees and you as a village board are looking for. We're looking for some compliance. And the health department went there, knocked on the door, was refused entry. And you have copies of those letters from the health department. And again, there's two separate issues here. There's the issue of the raise order on the home, and there's also the issue of cleaning up the property. This goes approximately back, well, we have records of 10 years. I understand it might have even been a little longer, but it's over, obviously the yard. And now it's the point of, when Jack looked at it, the roof is in very, very poor condition. It is caving in. It's not healthy for them to live in that house anymore. Just not. And it's not healthy for anyone, as a letter comes from the health department of the garbage, they don't know what the interior of the home because they were refused access. And that's when we came back to the board and asked for the benefit of them and the neighbors, as uncomfortable as it is, we need to move forward with this raise. And as far as the tickets and the ordinance citations through circuit court, that's a totally separate issue that's running down, we're running down two parallel avenues here, one with the raise order and one with the yard order. So, and I think I've sent everyone the information as much as I had. I've been contacted by, a couple of different people. I think the ultimate thing to remember is we did have Mr. Scholl, we had served him with their 30-day notice once you guys had ordered a raise order. They had 30 days to file with the circuit court to stop it. They did not do that.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Exactly how am I supposed to file with the court when everything's in a pandemic?
The court is accepting.
I can't get any information.
The court is accepting filings. If you would have brought it down to the clerk of courts,
And
they would have instructed you on how to answer.
No, they won't answer any problem.
Yes.
And
That's just not true.
And the gentleman
Okay.
said that
I can't hear the attorney.
about $24,000.
I'm sorry, what was that, William?
It said, the HUD gentleman said we could go to about $24,000. And he just said, start getting some bids, I'm getting it done. It was a zero interest grant that was going to be put on the end of our mortgage. We still owe $20,000 on the house. He said, yeah, you'll just add to the end of it, you sell it, and you pay us back. So it was no loan, it was a grant. No, it was a loan. Okay, a loan, but it was zero interest. He said that they would help us. He said that he tried to contact the inspector here, and
Jack?
he wouldn't respond.
I did have a contact from somebody from the county all along. I sent them the pictures that we had.
In my email, I just said, you make your decision. This is what's out there. They were supposedly getting a grant loan for shingles, there's some shingles. Unless they saw the picture, that makes sense.
He said he would work with it. I have a letter here saying, I got an email from him.
Madam President.
Yes.
Question for you. Why did you refuse entry of the health department?
We did not, they never asked. That was my house.
So,
It's my choice, because it's my house.
so you refuse entrance for them because it's your house?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And, you know, if they start paying the mortgage, then they can, you know.
You understand why they were coming out though, correct?
It sounded fictitious.
All they wanted to do was
I
check.
think that our yard was contaminating someone's well. I've only been there 30 years. The only reason we have any money to hold on the house is because of the home roofing loan we got. Or siding and your windows.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the health department trying to come in and do a welfare check on the inside of the house. You refused it.
Never paid.
Well, he just said he refused it.
A lady was there for a water sample, and she had no tag, no identification. She said, oh.
Unfortunately, that's not true. She was there with John or.
John was there, but he didn't have a tag on either.
Always,
Yes.
always a uniform shirt. He never comes with.
Mr. Kulat.
Well, first, I'm going to tell you folks, I have the highest degree of empathy for you for your situation. But I believe I was sitting on this board a number of years ago when we voted to give you some assistance then. And I believe, if I remember correctly, we sent 1 or 2 dumpsters over with a crew and cleaned your yard up for you.
And we built it.
I just said 1 or 2, okay, please, okay? I didn't interrupt you when you were talking, okay? May I speak? We sent a dumpster then, okay? I don't remember how many it was. We sent 1 or 2 and a crew to clean up. We cleaned up your yard for you once. I've been by your house several times. In fact, I just sold a house 3 doors away from you. And you know how hard it is for somebody to come into your neighborhood and buy a house when they have to drive by your house and look at the amount of stuff in your yard and the deplorable condition it's in? You are dragging down the value of all the homes around you. You're not helping anybody.
House just sold behind us, house just sold down on the corner, just down the street.
Well,
It doesn't matter,
And to see that junk you're talking about, they have to look over a stockade fence.
that's what?
They have to look over a stockade fence in the backyard.
You know, just drive by. Just, all you gotta do is drive by and look at your house. It's deplorable. It's absolutely deplorable. It has been. We helped you out once. We came and rescued you once. How many times do we have to come in and help you?
We're not asking for it.
I think you are.
Ask for time to take care of it.
Well,
They gave us.
We've been using the bulk.
if it was an issue of just the house, if just the house was the only issue, I would take a strong look at it. But it's been an ongoing thing, and I've been on this board over 8 years now. And we clean it up and it goes right back to where it was. It's horrendous. Your neighbors, I feel terrible for your neighbors have to deal with that stuff. And you folks have been told many times, and I know you're taking a citation to get it cleaned up, but you're not helping yourselves.
Never had cops at our house. My son went through school without any problems. We're not selling drugs, trying to make a living.
The fact that you're not doing something illegal doesn't,
Scrap prices went down.
the fact that you're not doing something illegal doesn't take away from what you are doing. And what you are doing is illegal. The amount of stuff in your yard is illegal against our ordinance. So you're violating the law.
all right.
And I for one, I'm done. You know, we've tried to help you folks in the past. We can only help you so much. But we have to look out for the residents of the whole village, not just the 2 of you.
Houses all around have been selling for high prices.
Pardon?
They said the house has been selling for high prices.
Around and fine.
Yes, it'd probably sell for more if it wasn't for the deplorable condition of your house.
Okay, we don't want to go back and forth on this, but anybody else have any comments or questions? No?
And I think ultimately, Madam President, I don't think the board needs any action right now. We're beyond the 30 days. No Circuit court petition was filed, checked on, looked into. Really nothing we need to move forward this time.
All right, so let me get this straight though, really quick, and I'm gonna move on. Did you get the grant?
They can't do it,
They
with
can't
the
do
raise
it.
order.
Yeah, once you guys voted on
Okay,
it, you know, so
okay,
he's got our paperwork, he's hanging on to it.
okay, Dan?
Yeah, I wasn't going to comment on this, but you brought it up again, that receiving or potentially receiving a grant of $24,000. First of all, we can't issue a raise order unless we can determine that there's at least half the property value needs to be repaired. And your property value, according to the last tax rolls, is about $110,000.
Yeah.
So that's telling me that you're going to have to invest about $50,000 to fix it up. But you're only going to get $24,000 from a grant that's on the tail end of your mortgage. You're still short over $25,000. And you already owe $20,000 on it. So I can understand your problem and understand and be sympathetic, but it just doesn't make economic sense if you're going to be short $25,000 to even get it out of.
You're assuming we're gonna be short. Okay, had the place, I said, the only reason we have a balance is because we improved it. Okay, but the prices of the homes selling all around us, every house on our street.
Well,
One other.
they are lucky. We don't,
Send us,
we are really,
you know, what to do.
they're very lucky to have sold, because I've been to your house. I've never been in it, but I've been to your house. And I would really hate to live in your neighborhood because of it. Honestly, I'd be afraid of the vermins and everything else. We try to help you out.
Madam President, there is two different issues. One is the yard.
Yep.
The other is the health and safety of them continue to live in it. We do not feel it's safe.
And we're not a judge for that. We don't.
We did ask for some help from Kenosha County Health Department. Received a letter that they refused. So.
All right.
We believe for the last resort of any time we come forward to ask for these raise orders.
Well, we were told on how to
What to do.
buy, what to do.
You gave us the raise order.
And
We tried to.
honestly, sir, it doesn't, I don't want to be, cruel or anything, but, because I feel bad for you, honestly, even though, but I know that they gave you a dumpster and it hardly improved the front yard, not yet alone the health hazard and everything else. I don't know that this is going to help you. And like I said, I preface it with, I feel terrible, but at the same time, I don't see anything getting cleared up over there. And,
Give us a chance and we can. sell it.
but you have had chances. This has been over 10 years. I mean, not the roof, but,
We have been cleaning up though in the past. We have complied.
so I'm going to,
That we don't need no action from the board.
right,
We will continue on the eviction.
yes. And everyone's good with that?
Yep.
Correct? All right. I'm sorry. We're going to go on to Captain Halsey.
Madam President, members of the board, I just wanted to give you an update on the civil unrest and the dignitary visit that we had on August 23rd and all. I don't know if Mr. Murdoch, anybody. Just want to let everybody know that the civil arrest started after the officer involved shooting on August 23rd. We all saw it in the papers. Almost immediately, the sheriff declared an emergency, and our staff worked on an emergency declaration for 3 weeks, and since then, the declaration's been over. There were only 3 deputy sheriffs that were injured. It was all minor injuries. A couple other police officers were injured during the unrest. Hundreds and hundreds of arrests. I'm sure you also newspaper articles where many of them from out of town. Millions of dollars worth of damage. Just want to let you know that, to our knowledge, nothing came out in the Salem Lakes. I think everything was contained into the city of Kenosha.
Yeah, we're grateful for that.
Yes.
Question.
Bill?
So on the report you gave us, this is not just focused on the civil unrest then, correct? Because in here it says total criminal arrests were 21.
Right, that's my normal monthly report.
Okay.
That's just for,
I was, when I first read this, I thought that was all result of the civil unrest.
Oh, that's just the standard Salem police.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain, and thank
yeah, thank
all of you
you.
for what you did. I know it was brutal.
Can you pull that one up right there? Do you have any questions, guys? No, I appreciate it.
Just point out that Chief Slover went at no time, obviously Chief Slover.
That line doesn't
You won't pull everything up here.
We went on the roads,
Okay, mine either.
always a Kenosha County squad. Never at any time, going downtown. I was west most of the time, most of the nights.
Oh, now all of them.
Always a squad car in the area. They responded to med calls like they always do. They responded to car accidents. There was never a lack of service.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. I agree with that. Not only contractually, but also the sheriff's department committed to the villages. We will always have squads here in the village. And we didn't waver from that at all, even though we had the emergency downtown, our village was covered by sheriff's deputies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Many of you pull up the bike plan on yours, or does it go to?
I got the bike
I
plan.
got it.
Any one of those, it won't come up. Work off of memory.
Shannon is downloaded on this.
You want to?
No, I actually looked at it. I don't know if I have to go through all 95 pages, God knows.
I have the bike plan up.
Yours pulled up? Mine won't pull up now.
It was up, no, maybe.
You don't mind?
No, I actually looked at it. God knows I didn't memorize any of it.
President, you're on number 3. I'm sorry, I lost my.
We are going to be on number 3. Where did Mark go?
I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Oh, there he is. Come on up, Mark.
I talked to Mark, running to him, sales somewhere, and we started talking about it, and, you know, we had some concerns, and I said, would you like to speak to our board? He said, absolutely, I would love to come.
Night, Carol.
Within a couple of days, I also received an email from Karen, who's also in the county board, so they're both here this week and talk to the board.
Okay.
Their thoughts there.
Mark Nordigan from, I don't know what district.
Well, thanks, everyone. I'm Mark Organ, Supervisor, 21st District, the county board. And we've been noticing in our districts, as many of you, these 4x6 very tall sign posts going up kind of all over the county highway F and county highway C and other county roads and other roads. So I asked about what those were. And it's part of the comprehensive bike plan for Kenosha County 2025. I think I forwarded this to my, it's a very comprehensive plan. It's very well done. It's very well written. Very well spelled out of the problems that there are for putting bikes on these county roads because of the lack of improvement of these roads. Apparently they felt back in 2013 when this was done, that these county roads would be improved. They'd make them wider, they'd have areas for bikes to go up and down. Well, that hasn't happened. So when I originally brought this up, I talked to Summit, he's the one who gave me all the information. I felt that this was not, these large signposts are going to be bicycle wayfinding signs. So, hey, I'm going to go this way. This is where I want to go. Given a false sense of safe roads. To me, this is no different than pick any one of your lakes in the winter and put up a sign that says, oh, ice is safe, go ahead. It's not, I don't think they felt that they would get to the point where they are right now, and that is they didn't get these roads improved enough to put the wayfinding signs on. So I've asked them to review it at Public Works, and they did at the county level. And Ray Arvin from Public Works and Public Works have put this all on hold. The entire plan is on hold. It's on hold. I said, look, I'm not against bicycles. I want to have a false sense of security that it's safe to ride on these county roads. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't let my kids do it. Neighbors don't let their kids do it. Back in the city where you have a lot flatter, slower speeds, might make sense. They also have multi-use trails. They have lanes, bike lanes. We have none of that out there. So we shouldn't be pushing these signs to say, hey, this is the way you go. This is the route to take. So we have it on hold for the county right now. It was supposed to be reviewed every year. And the 2 years I was on the Public Works Committee was not brought up once. So 2 years ago, I was brought it up. Because I just don't think this is a safe way that we can tell people to go ride their bikes. They even brought it up in the report that they're not, that there are problems with the roads as they were. So I've asked them to readdress it, look at it, find a better solution. I told them out here, we pretty much put our bikes in the cars and we'll go to the parks. Maybe, not too many of us, and I'm sure others may, but would drive down to east of the I and use those trails. We just wouldn't do that, but we would find trails out here. Supervisor Palmerville had sent over the economic impact information. I wish it was a little more detailed, but it did talk about how biking does impact positively the area. So it's not like we want to get rid of it. We just want to make sure it's safe. That's all. That all took place after I talked to Mike when they decided to put this on hold. I asked them to get all of the villages and towns that are involved in this thing, get them back involved and don't just, here we go. Because it just doesn't make sense for them to do something they think that needs to be done. The three of us are that cover the village. We're not experts, the people in here every day and work with your people who are experts. You can put your people on it and be part of the solution that I think will be forthcoming in hopefully more than a year or two, I'm sure, because you're just not going to start on these roads. And we don't want multi-use trails out here because we can't afford them. We can't afford the property it takes to buy it. So there's got to be some solution coming. I just don't know what it is.
It's interesting that you say that, Mr. Nordigan, because one of the questions I had from some of the bikers, is there a standard width when we talk about these existing shoulders? Because I know for a fact, living in Silver Lake, they come up and down Highway B there.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't want anybody to ride on those shoulders over there with the stones and everything else that are on the shoulders, which are about this wide, if that's what we're talking about.
And I think that we're looking at putting 6 foot wider on each side for bicycles, for a bicycle lane, if you will. Take a look at C, get around this curve. You might have a foot, but 8 inches of them are rumble strips. There's other areas where you have nothing. So it didn't make sense to say this is the way you want to go because it's very dangerous. If you look at the information here, one of the maps, it shows the 7 or 8 accidents, car versus bike accidents that were on F or C, that would have been on the planned route from 2007 to 2011. And they flat out said, oh no, we know there's more than that, but we don't hear about it. People don't talk about it. So they know it's much worse. And that's what made this study good, is they laid it all out. But I think they got too far ahead of themselves. Now we got to start doing it, but you didn't do the things you were supposed to do to make it safe. So
is there a proposal as to when this will be done?
I'm sorry?
Is there any proposals as to when this will be done?
Not yet. Not yet. It was just put on hold. They're going to start looking at it again. I really highly encourage Public Works here, as well as Randall, Twin Lakes, up in Paddock Lake, wherever these trails are going to go. It'd be really great if there were more east-west, smaller roads, less speed limit and less ridden roads. That would have been the way to go, but there's not a lot of them that can connect it all the way out here. And I know that's the goal.
Talk a little bit about W and the trucks.
Um,
You had mentioned this in a committee meeting on Tuesday night last week. It was really interesting, talking about the truck traffic on W.
Oh, yeah. And now that we have about 200 trucks a day coming through W, some of the other concerns are the stones and the rocks flying off trucks, even with a helmet. I mean, hit you in the eyes or hit you someplace and, you jerk a little bit and you're in the track. There's the
High school right now.
What's that? Go ahead.
High school? You're talking about high school?
Yeah.
You guys see how Wilmot High School is when they let out?
Well, you've got the high school, you've got the fairgrounds, and it's crazy. And on W between F and Wilmot, there is no shoulder. I mean, it's shoulder, but it's gravel, and they work on it every 2 weeks
Yeah.
because of the semi trucks that are on it.
And they were specifically looking at C and F, and then, of course, you will have some north-south roads you're gonna have to take, the KD up into the Twin Lakes area. But one of the things they said was where you see a lot of the accidents are where you have a busy intersection. None of the accidents that were shown were at an intersection, so.
I got a question for either one of you guys. So, what is I am in favor of a bike plan. I think that Mary Beth made some good points and everybody did. But what's our role as a village in this? I mean, what is our role in implementing this plan?
I look at it as, when I was on the town board, in Randall, when the county wanted to do something, the county just knocked you over the head and said you were doing it. You had to have a darn good reason why you shouldn't do it. I don't like that. I think there has to be a mesh of communicating between the two. Is, hey, guys, we understand this. We want bicycles. We want them to move through here. We want them to have opportunities to come, spend money here, ride through here, have events here. But it's got to be where it's got to be cohesive. You may have some plans that aren't going to work within their plans, even though it's on the county roads that they're talking about. Maybe there's some village roads that it might be better that you could work on rather than just a county road. So let's work together. It all works better working together than being with the biggest hammer.
And I think another part of it was Mark was able to get them to kind of halt what they were doing at the moment because we really wanted you guys to chime in, because you're the experts when it comes to travel out here in bicycles. You're out here all the time. So we want to make sure you did in Twin Lakes and Tim and Kenneck Lake, if he was interested. You guys really need to chime in with the parks, the county public works, so they know what you think is best, as well as the biking community.
Well,
And you guys,
I'd like to add, there is an education that can be done. Share the road. That is a bicycle in Wisconsin has every right to be on the road like a car.
I think people need to be reminded of that one.
But there's more and more bikes. Bike shops are sold bikes.
And I think the big part of it.
I got you, Dan.
They need to hear what's safe for cyclists.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, and things have come a long way since 2013. For instance, I rode here, I have on trigger at the flashing light at light.
Oh, I passed you on the way over.
The technology is there for safety also.
Okay, now, again,
Just saying.
the rules of the road have to be followed by the drivers, and that's what we're talking about, the cars, You have two people riding next to each other, not much of a shoulder, you're coming up and going over around the curve. You're expecting that your lane is gonna be open as you're going. Now, a lot of people are going faster. Like I said, we're doing all these other things.
I ride
You
them all.
also have bikers who aren't stopping at stop signs and also
Oh, yeah.
have to follow the rules.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a lot more prep before this. By the way, Mary Beth, off the record there, by wearing that jacket, it covers your backlight.
Oh.
Just letting you know. Because I saw it and then I go, where'd it go? Oh, her jacket, your white jacket. So that's why I knew it was you.
Yeah, I think I have a very easy solution for all of you. I'm not sure if you were here earlier when I spoke.
He was not. He was not.
I'm David Spiegelberg. I represent the Wisconsin Department of Tourism here in Eastern Wisconsin. And I sit on the Governor's Bike Council, and I've sat on that council for the past 3 administrations. We just had our quarterly Governor's Bike Council meeting 2 weeks ago. And 2 members from Wisconsin DOT, our state bicycle and pedestrian coordinator, is the representative of the DOT on that council. They gave an update, and I believe every 3 to 5 years, the DOT updates their state of Wisconsin bicycle map. So that's a printed map, and it's a map found online. If you go online and you click on a county, the state DOT has all of the roads, I shouldn't say all of the roads, but most of the roads in the county are color coded from recommended to not recommended. So if the bike plan is from 2013, all that you really have to do is take that map from 2013, cross-reference it to the most current DOT bike map for Kenosha County. And if roads don't match up, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to scratch the recommended roads for the 2013 plan. So really, it's just a matter of checking on DOT's website to find out what Kenosha County roads are considered safe and recommended, and which ones are not.
So is that, the state determines whether the road's safe or not, or is that coming from the county?
So it's probably a combination, because it's your public works, probably know here, you probably work with our state people all the time.
And it's all based on crash data and.
Correct. So don't think of it as dictation coming down from Madison. Think that a dialogue is taking place. And then just one more comment about safety. Safety isn't always just about how large the shoulder of a road is. When the state DOT looks into the criteria for what a recommended route is, they look at a number of criteria. Sure, a wide shoulder is part of it, but also they look at traffic volume. And they look at all other types of indicators that will play into that decision. And they also look at accidents and unfortunately fatalities that take place in certain spots. So just note that the DOT is probably going to have more information about every road here in Kenosha County than you would ever want to have. So I think it's just a matter of doing a simple process.
We get some DOT money?
One more comment, and then Dan, you were next.
The thing about it is it's not even going to affect the cost. The DOT's done the work already. It's just a matter of checking their map.
I'm under the impression the DOT doesn't have enough money to do the roads in the state.
About riding bikes, I live in Trigger, right across from the gas station. We have a bike lane that goes from the fire station, I think, to JF. It's about as far as it goes. And people park there at the post office. You couldn't ride there if you wanted. I bought this bike. I thought, I'm this old lady, I can learn to ride a bike. And I haven't been out of my driveway because it's not safe. So you can talk about all these bike lanes, but no one pays any attention. They park there.
Well, there's no lane after JF.
No.
You're fighting with that.
So it doesn't go anywhere.
There's no bike lane, it's just the shoulder.
All right, Dan, and then we're gonna,
Go ahead, I've got
You know, we gotta do a lot more than look up for bike lanes. Don't worry.
There's a lot to discuss what people are mentioning during this. So I'm going to try to get the high notes. First of all, your comment about a DOT knowing about the roads. I'm sorry, I haven't seen it from them yet since I've been on the board, meaning that they were trying to sell us on a roundabout in 83 and C. When we were asking, what about a roundabout in JF and 83? They said, no, we don't have the funds, because they were trying to get money from the federal government. So I don't really trust some of the information we're getting from the DOT. That's number one. Number two, a few years ago, a bicyclist died on JF. Now that was some really strange incident because supposedly there was a drunk driver involved with it. But that's on the map. That's on the map. There is not enough room for a bicycle to be on JF between JF and C.
yeah,
So, but they keep on putting these out on it. The others, there's a couple of towers, village roads that are proposed to being. I would like to see if the county's going to kick in some money to make them improvements so that they can have bike paths. The last one I want to mention is, has anyone gone east of the interstate on Highway C?
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful accommodations there for a bike path, all the way through. It's fantastic. What about us out in the west side? We get a couple of white lines on blacktop. I'm sorry, the county's got to step up and they have to do their job for us and we are paying our taxes. So the others, I said one more, but I'd like to say they see a little more detail in the impact for us because I see bikes going through, but how many of them actually stop and buy something?
Yeah, I'm taking a look at this, the cost estimate. I agree with you, Dan. I'm looking at the cost estimate and I see the figures go back to 2013. And at that time, a shared lane was a bike lane was $36,000 per mile. Where's that money coming from? The state doesn't have money to do the roads as it is right now. I had to lay on the horn just the other day on Highway SA. 2 guys on bikes, you think they'd get out of the way? Absolutely not. Talk about safety.
they don't have to get out of the way.
Mr. Fager, they're considered a vehicle in Wisconsin.
Yeah, they don't have to get out of the way. They have,
Well, you think they would when a car's coming,
Right.
you know?
There's,
But, okay, these costs are excessive. Well, where's the bike people? Where does that do? Do they contribute this money? I live on AH. About 6 years ago, it was tore up and repaved. 3 years later, they came back and repaved it and made the shoulder wider. Last night, there was an accident there at 3:45. Cars run off the road there all the time. It's very, very dangerous. So the width made no difference there.
I didn't want to get into anything more than bicycle wayfinding signs are given a false sense of security that these are the
I
safe
agree.
to take. I don't think that was the right message that we should be giving people. All the other roads, they all have their own issues and all that, but this is where they were saying, go down these roads.
Yeah, the cart before the horse. It shouldn't be
I
up.
just wanted to put a stop to that and have them real evaluated, and that's what they've done. And I wanted them to get involved. I was at Town of Randall on Thursday, brought that up to them as well, that they want to get involved as well, because they're seeing these signs all the way into Twin Lakes, all the way down to here. So it's something that I just wanted them to take another look at it, because I want bicycling in here. Looking at buying 2 new bikes myself, except for you can't buy any right now.
Yeah, you can't buy any.
You know, it's just something I wanted to be safe. That was all it was.
If I can make one final comment.
I just want to say thank you for pointing out the DOT bike path, because what they're saying is undesirable, doesn't even come close to what you're proposing for, not you, but the county for bike paths.
Just one final statement, and then I'll stop at that. But anything that we produce for travelwisconsin.com in regards to encouraging our travelers or our residents to go up on a given road, if we make the mistake at the Department of Tourism for recommending a pretty road to ride your bike on, and that is not classified by the DOT as a recommended riding route, the DOT comes down on us pretty hard at the Department of Tourism for sending people out on a road that they classify as unsafe. So I just want to let you know that the DOT does monitor it quite closely with us. And obviously they have a set of criteria. And I always ask why, and then DOT is always providing criteria as why the Department of Tourism should or should not be recommending that people ride on a particular road.
All right.
I'll stop at that.
Okay, I'm going to stop there too.
Good job, Mark.
All right, thank you all. Mark, thanks for bringing it up. Sharon, all right, and Dave, and Mary Beth, and everyone else. Okay, number 4, discussion and possible action on the 2021 purchase of service funding for Sharing Center for 12.
Could we table this? We haven't even done our budget for next year yet. We don't even know where we're at for next year. I think.
Thank you. Shannon? Shannon?
My understanding,
Oh.
we set a due date last year of August 31st for these to be turned in. So you would know what you were giving to do the budget.
Yeah, we're drafting on it.
Yeah. Is there a motion, anyone? And did you want to table it?
I make a motion to table it until at least we.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Kulat and seconded by Hopkins to table it. Is, Ronnie, what do you think?
Yes, table it.
I mean, if the applications are in by the time limit, then I think we're pretty safe tabling it
All right,
to the budget.
Dennis,
Which
all
they
right,
apparently are, right?
and
This
then
is
Dan,
September.
Table it.
all right. Okay, so I'm assuming number 5 also.
Yes, I make the same motion for number 5.
Second.
We have a motion by Kulat, second by Hopkins to also table number 5. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, okay. Thanks for coming. Number 6, discussion of possible action on a resolution. Yeah,
We'll be glad to come back and we'll be glad to answer any kind of questions that you
All right.
might have to our proposal.
all right. Number 6 for the resolution 2020.09-30, a resolution requesting exemption from Kenosha County library tax.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Hopkins and Faber. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, discussion of possible action on increasing the insurance liability coverage requirements on the village park lease agreements from 100,000 to 1 million.
So I'd asked Shannon to put this on there, and it brought to my attention that our park leases that we have with 3 three different entities, Center Lake, Lake Shangri-La, and Rock Lake Islands Association. So it was time for their insurance renewals. So obviously they went to a local vendor and they said, why would the village only want $100,000? And these are from back in 18, so
Yeah,
that's not right.
okay, that makes sense.
So currently, I didn't think they would go for it, because I know that one of the associations had an issue that said the paperwork says 100,000, that's all we're paying for. So my only choice at that time was to cancel the park lease, give them their 60-day notice and renew a park lease with them, if that's what they were to do. Come to find out later that all three associations do have $1 million liability insurance. Even the one that was initially refusing chose to go with $1 million liability. So we are current in our liability, but as these come up for renewal, if anyone, this was going to cut them short because I think they're good through
2023.
2023.
All of them, all three of them?
All three of them. So they were all renewed at the same time. So with everything else going on, we know that we're covered for the $1 million umbrella liability with the village listed, that we can push this down and kick this can down the road. So we'll bring this up at a later date whenever we want to review. If something comes up, we're going to review all the leases. But initially, I thought there might be an issue with only having $100,000 coverage.
Well,
So we can still
I'll
do
make
it.
a motion to put it on record that it's going to be $1 million then.
Sure.
Correct, but what we would have to do is, it is a park lease. So in order to change the park lease, because the park lease is granted through 2023, we would have to, obviously, agree to the lease, and correct me if I'm wrong, we would have to cancel, when we have a duty to get 60 days notice.
Oh,
Or we could do an amendment, and maybe that would be the simplest, is
To amend it?
and add it, so.
would you like to change your motion to that?
Yeah, I'd motion to do
Did
that.
you catch that, Shannon? We're going to amend the park lease to reflect the $1 million. And Mr. Gant seconded it. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You got that, Shannon?
Yep.
Not a girl.
May I ask, will we be notified when you're going to replace this on the agenda?
Yes,
You will let us know.
sorry.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you for coming.
And your corn was really good. I stopped and bought some of your corn.
Oh, I'm delighted. I want to encourage you all to visit the center.
Yeah, it's really nice, actually.
Thank you.
They got lettuce and everything. But anyway, Public Works. Number 1, discussion and possible action on payment request number 16 CD Smith Construction Incorporated in the amount of $451,932.07.
To approve.
Second.
All right, we got Campion and Kulat kind of beat you. Any questions on this, guys? Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, discussion and possible action on a payment request number 3 by Payne and Dolan Incorporated in the amount of $362,641.92 for the sanitary sewer street. Kulat made the motion.
I'll second.
Faber seconded.
Is Arboretum Woods about done?
Second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We already did number 3. So we move on to fire and rescue. Yeah,
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
well, Mr. Travis was here, Anderson. Fire and rescue number 1, discussion and possible action on emergency lighting and electronics invoice number 200-236 in the amount of $6,022 for an incident command slide out on a Ford F-150.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Campion and Kulat. Questions on this?
Yes, is this for the new pickup?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The
Oh.
assistant chief, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Endorsement 50 years ago, Kenosha.
It's in an install, but it was over the $5,000. So that's what we said.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, discussion and possible action on emergency lighting electronics invoice 200-247 in the amount of $1,906.34 for a Havas radio console and computer tablet cradle on a Ford 150.
Motion approved.
Second.
Kula and Campion. Was it, yeah? Oh, you got in there, all right.
That's not that 3-second delay.
Yeah, I know, that was, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, discussion and possible action on the approval of the sale of 2001 450 Braun, a surplus 5843 ambulance to the Kenosha County Fair Association in the amount of $10,000.
Motion approved.
Kula, come on, oh, we got to get some action down there.
Second.
Hopkins, Kula and Hopkins. Questions? So what are they going to do if you got to man it? What are they going to do? They just want the vehicle?
The racetrack hires people to man the ambulance for the races.
Oh, interesting.
The old ambulance broke down, it's gonna cost way too much to repair. We had this one available.
Cool. I didn't know that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Clerk's office, consideration and possible action on the following applications.
Make a motion to approve.
Well, I got one comment if we read our email.
Yep.
Mariah Cochran, Cora Keene, Susan Sex, Deanna Teeser, Dawn Manley, Gabriel Sowen, Dana Garwood, Samantha Parfrey, and Sherry Stevenson. I would recommend them as one to approve right now.
Yep.
So Hopkins said yes. He made the motion to approve.
I'll second.
And Campion? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now I'm going to ask for approval of Leon Crane.
Make a motion to deny.
I'll second.
Hopkins, and he beat you, Kulat. I'm waiting for the next one though there, Ronnie. All right. For Leon Crane, it was motion for, to deny Hopkins and Kulat. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Number 2, approval of applications filed with the clerk for retail licenses for Healing Grounds. New name, guys. That's the old Foxy's, right?
No, Healing Grounds is gonna open up in the cafe that was in,
Breezy Hill. Okay, so the saloon is then.
the saloon is the Old Foxy.
That's what I meant. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Can we bifurcate these next 3? Because I was coming up to abstain on 1903 Saloon. I didn't represent them, but involved in the sale, and I think I should just abstain from voting on them.
Okay, well, why don't we go with the first one, guys, for licenses to sell malt beverages and liquors for Healing Grounds.
Second.
Okay, Hopkins and Campion. Understood?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we're going to go for the 1903 Saloon LLC, which is the old Foxy's now.
Motion to approve.
And the new owner's here, back here.
I'll second it.
Oh, how do you do?
I'll second.
Good, good, thank you. And it was seconded, it was made by Campion and seconded by Kamek. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
And one abstention from Mr. Kulat. Perfect. Motion carries. I'll do the same for number 3, the cabaret license for Healing Grounds.
Motion approved.
Second.
Kulat, Campion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Cabaret license contingent, necessary fees for the 1903 Saloon.
Motion to approve.
Campion.
Second.
Oh, Ron, you missed it.
I was trying to get in there.
And it was like open, it was open. Hopkins.
Is it second?
Hopkins.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
And one abstention from Mr. Kulat.
If I could just,
Yes.
the owners aren't here, and if you folks haven't been by there, you gotta go, and I tell you, I didn't represent them, but I did represent Steve selling it. But you gotta see what they're doing, so they got great plans for it. It's gonna be a great asset to our village. I'm really excited for them.
Tough business these days, though, but
You know, they got big plans, and I think they'll do well. So,
good. Welcome.
best of
Yeah,
luck.
welcome.
All right. Number 5. We need 3 motions for this too. Okay, approval of minutes for the regular board meeting on,
We didn't do.
We're on number 4.
oh, I did skip that. Sorry. Number 4, sorry, guys. Amusement machine licenses for 1903 Saloon.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Yeah. Campion and Gant. Mhm. All in favor?
Aye.
Now this
And one of-
excludes the
I got it.
amusement machines we talked about a couple months ago.
Right.
That's correct.
Yes.
For their jukebox, I believe.
I will, yes, I will, when I give you guys, the paperwork, it's not gonna be for those machines that we discussed to not license. It will only be for the licensable machines.
Which maybe we should spell that out, that it's for a pool table and.
Do you wanna know what the machine, I can definitely do that, if you would like.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea because we excluded those other ones, so there's no misunderstanding.
I can
That,
put that on
that
there.
isn't something we approved.
Our applications say that, like, if you see, it's on there, but if you want it on the agenda, I can put it on
That'd
there.
make it simple. Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
That's easy.
And we did the abstention. Perfect. Okay. Number 5, approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting on February 10th. Motion,
So
Motion
moved.
to approve.
Kula and Campion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who was absent for that one? Anybody?
Nobody was absent for February.
Okay.
March 1, trustee Campion was absent, and the August 1, trustee Kamic was.
Okay.
And I apologize about the February and March 1. I thought this was on an agenda with COVID, and then
No problem.
brought to my attention last week.
You know what? I forgot it too because we postponed it because, yes.
Yes, and then I wasn't at the April meeting, and yeah.
We're all
I
good.
apologize for the late approval.
No problem. No problem at all. So we have a motion by Kulat and seconded by Campion. And did I already call for
Are
it?
we still on February?
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? No opposed. Okay. Approval of regular board meeting minutes for March 9th.
So moved. Second.
Kulat, yeah, right. And Gant. All in favor?
Aye.
And
One abstention.
one abstention from Mr. Campion. August 17th, regular board meetings. Kamek was absent.
I move to approve.
Second.
Faber and, that was really close.
I
I'll
didn't-
give it to Dan. He hasn't been here for a while. Faber and Campion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And one abstention from Ted. Perfect. Number 6, approval of the vouchers for August 18th through September 14th as reviewed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Campion and Faber. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, discuss the scheduling dates and times for the 2021 budget workshop and budget hearing.
Chris came up with these dates and just want to make sure it'll work for you. We think that Chris has got you down to probably 2 or 3 meetings.
Usually.
All on Mondays.
All 6 PM?
That works.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was gonna ask you guys. And then I know
Yeah.
for the October, it would be, the 12th and the 19th would be our regular and cow. So is that something, we could put on, like, just discuss after the meeting, or would you want to do it before?
I say before because it speeds up the process to get to the next meeting.
Because the first couple obviously take a long, probably need some of our own time, and then it's just clearing up questions,
I agree.
corrections that you guys would like to see, so.
And right now, just to put it out there, guys, if you have input, start sending it to all of us and to Mike.
Send it to Mike.
Yes.
I have to say, if this budget workshop goes as well as last year,
Yeah.
that was the first time ever that we moved through it so easily, so readily. It was really
And all you go back to all the department heads, Chris, Shannon, I mean, they spend a lot of time preparing that. There's a few questions here. That's,
makes it easy for us.
They're just excellent to work with.
All right. So what dates do we have?
So I put the calendar, I put those, I sent you guys the calendars. We have October, the Mondays are the 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th.
Oh, I
Make
see
a
it.
motion to approve that calendar.
One more time.
It's in our.
Yeah, it's the
October 5th.
19th and 26th are the Mondays in October. I just need you guys to tell me exactly what time. I just didn't put the times on there.
I think 6 o'clock is fine.
Medium, if that works for you.
Six.
Stay with 6.
6 works for me.
Just keep them all at 6 and then we'll just, okay.
Okay, we got nothing on the 5th, so that would work.
It's gonna be zoomed or. I think that'd be a good idea. Yeah, because I'm not gonna be here. Yep, I think that's a good idea.
October, okay, we're gonna,
Meeting, so if someone can't be in attendance, obviously. you can go off.
we're gonna go with October 5th for the first one. Recommended, plus it works, we are not, our first budget, and that's all we're gonna have that night. Oh, workshop. Come on, Diane, type.
Like I said, usually that first one is the big one, you know, where we throw a lot out there.
Yep.
Present what it is, and if you guys give us some direction, and after that, we whittle it down.
Okay, October 5th at 6 o'clock. What's the next one? Do you want to do it before?
Yes.
So at
Regular
5?
meeting with,
Can we meet at 5?
I have no problem with 5 o'clock. No, the only thing I'll say, the 12th is Columbus.
You got football, right?
I got football practice till 6, but if you got to schedule it at 5. go.
What was your comment?
Well, the 12th is Columbus Day. Is that going to affect anybody? Is anybody going out of town or?
Columbus Day, give me a break. They took down his, they took down his statue for crying out loud.
We're here without him.
I'm aware of that. I shouldn't have even said that. The world as it is. Okay, I'm game if we could do it at 5. You know what? Bill, just send your comments and come when you can.
Yep. Yeah, I may have a jury trial that day, but I can go ahead and schedule it.
Well, we can switch it to another day.
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine, leave it.
Hopefully.
All right, October,
so just to confirm, the budget workshop's at 5 before the meeting.
yep, and the regular meeting's at 6.
Okay. Are we doing the same thing for the cow then? Or do you want to talk about it at 6? Like, and then do the
Budget
cow?
Meeting at 6, and if we need to have a cow meeting, we can do it after. Wait a minute, I started talking like Diane.
Oh,
Cow meeting.
he hates when I say the cow. He wants a committee of the whole. I say cow.
Have it after the budget meeting, or maybe we could combine them.
Do it after.
October 19th.
Or we could make the committee of the whole as strictly budget concerns, or additions or subtractions.
Unless something comes up, we don't vote on anything, so it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
If something comes up, put on the agenda. Just make
All
it
right.
a regular meeting.
I'm gonna go with October 19th for the budget at 6 o'clock on the 12th. That'll save at least one or so of you.
Put it in there with the committee of the whole meeting, right?
If we have a committee of the whole, then we'll have it right after.
So it's 6?
6 o'clock, we start the budget that night because you're gonna be busy, you guys, right?
That depends.
Yeah.
That might work.
On the 19th?
Yeah. And then we're not gonna need another one, but
Just in case.
Pencil it
do
in.
we have a hearing? We don't have a hearing.
The hearing,
You gotta get it to the paper.
we got it. Okay.
21st.
But it doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be final, but by the 21st, you want to be closed.
So let's just keep the 26th tentative at this point.
Yes,
Be early voting.
When?
oh yeah, on the 26th.
What do we have?
Thank you.
Early voting.
We have it till 6.
Thanks, everyone. So thanks for the input, yeah.
Diane, why don't we just start at 5 and then go to our meeting at 6, so we know we're always here at 5 o'clock.
Because these two,
Well, then write it down. As you just said.
okay, Dennis said that we should just start at 5 and then if they can make it, otherwise put their comments in.
On the
Because when we're
26th.
starting at 5, when we're starting at 6.
19th.
Start them all at 5. They want to write their comments and then go into our meetings at 6 and.
Okay, I changed it. October 19th, 5 o'clock.
And this is exactly why we wanted to bring it up for discussion for tonight's meeting. Figure out what
And
happens.
October 5th, October 12th, October 19th, 5 o'clock.
These are all 5 o'clocks now?
Yeah.
And then with the early voting on that October 26th, Chris just asked if we need that final, we'll do it on November 7th. Right?
9.
9th, November 9th, if that's okay.
So all of them are 5 p.m.?
Yes,
All 5.
5 o'clock and just send your comments to Mike.
I'll do it.
All right, everybody got that?
Well, and then we were gonna, do the budget, with this schedule, Chris and I were wondering if the hearing could be, the budget hearing on the 16th with the committee of the whole. Like, we'll do the budget hearing and then go into committee of the whole if we need to.
Not the 16th.
November.
November.
Oh.
For the actual hearing.
Oh,
So then this keeps our, Chris and my notice schedule and everything, because then this leaves Chris what she needs to get to the county. And then this leaves the notice for me, like I'll know.
Dan?
That sounds-
First, I got a question. When does the state typically tell us what revenue we're going to be? You're starting to get them now?
Some of it, but some of it.
Okay. If so, it should be well in advance of last at least 2 meetings. Okay, very good.
Okay, everybody understands.
Yeah, but what time are we looking at?
5.
And all those.
Even on the 16th of November?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did we leave the second, Chris? November 2nd. Why did we leave that off as a tentative and pick the 9th? Because of the regular meeting? Okay. Is that okay with you guys?
Election's the 3rd, right?
Oh, yeah, duh, that's why. Oh, my God. Mike, I thought of elections way too much today.
Right, yeah, we can't.
I would be busy that day.
No, I'm not.
Huh.
Yeah, I was thinking correct. I was thinking good when we're meeting with Chris, but right now I'm not. Sorry.
Yeah, we got that. We totally got it. All right, so that's good. We got it all understood, correct?
We were going back and forth as staff, and it was like, we gotta get to the board to make sure those dates.
Any future items to be discussed? Oh, yes.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Wrong item.
You're okay?
Yep.
Park Commission, Saturday, they're doing a tour of the parks. It's Saturday. I don't know what, did we rent a vehicle or are we going in somebody's vehicle? What's going on?
I
don't know.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Maybe the whole, are we going to have a committee of the whole?
Next week,
I don't know for what.
I don't know either.
anything to discuss? Mike, you got anything for us?
I don't, I mean, obviously, I think that our time in the next few weeks is we get the first round of budget stuff together.
If there's something pending and just keep it open and I will notify you if we come up with something. But right now, it's not this coming Monday. Okay, Library Board on the September 28th, Park Commission, October 1st, regular board meeting, October, okay.
Fox River Commission on the 9th.
Fox River Commission on the 9th. And where's that at?
That is a Zoom meeting.
Okay, perfect. Consideration, motion to move into closed session in accordance with provisions of Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85, parentheses 1, parentheses E, for deliberating, investing public funds or conducting other things, bargaining reasons, Village of Paddock Lake service contract with Salem, tentative track contract. Mike,
And second.
who's first? Who made the motion? Hopkins and then Campion second.
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Dennis.
Yes.
Mike, Bill,
Yes.
and Dan. We are now in closed session. Kulat and Hopkins made the motion and second, and everybody said aye. Number 3, consideration and possible action on relative to the closed session. Who would like to make the motion to approve the draft?
Motion to approve the tentative agreement between the Teamsters and the
Firefighters.
as submitted.
I'll second.
It was made by Hopkins, seconded by Faber. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just to correct, it's not the Teamsters and the unions.
Teamsters Union and Fire.
Right, this is a union one, right?
Right, union and-
We know what you meant.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Nothing else, right?
On that. Now,
The approve
of the
draft con,
contract.
To continue with the tentative agreement draft for the contract with Paddock Lake.
that's made by Faber
Second.
and second by Gant.
That's good.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Third.
That's second.
I'm going to go with Kulat and Campion.
I'm third.
You're third. All right.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Aye. Aye.
I got trustee Campion made the motion to adjourn it.
The ayes have it.
With my Pathfinder.
Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute, guys.
Okay. Hold on a sec.
We're supposed to